Welcome to the RAG Podcast, the weekly show where I interview recruitment owners who are prepared to tell their unique story of growth. This is all in aid of helping future and existing recruitment businesses who are looking to do similar things. Now, growth means different things to different people. So, by tuning in every week, you're no doubt going to find information that's relevant to you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the RAG Podcast. On this week's show, with it being the beginning of 2025, I'm sat here reflecting on 2024 and thinking about my goals for the year ahead. So I want to do a solo episode to recap 2024 from across the recruitment industry, from things I've learned on LinkedIn and from my own personal life, and then look at what's ahead. Talk about what I believe will happen in the industry, what I think is going to happen online, and also a little bit about my life and what I'm trying to achieve. Because I do think the more conversations I have with the industry, the more I'm connected to you guys as founders, and I'm going through very similar things to you. So hopefully some of the things I'm going through will relate and perhaps even help as well. So I've written some notes down on my laptop that I'm looking at in front of me, and I'm going to work through them. Okay. So wherever you are listening to this, I hope it adds some value. So let's just start at the beginning. Let's look at 2024 as a year across the industry from what I've seen. So we speak to literally 100 recruitment companies a week at Hoxo. So we've got a decent handle on what's going on. And look, I'd say majority of people have said it's been a tough year. It's been horrific for some. We know that there's been, a lot of uncertainty due to the economic factors in terms of the wars and the different political parties in the US and UK. And what that's meant is there's been a lack of investment heavily in the technology space. So any recruitment companies that have been very heavily leveraged on accounts in things like tech sales or just technology in general, there's been a knock-on effect to hiring. So what we've seen throughout the year, every time I ask this question, how are you getting on, is people just saying, like, genuinely, this is the hardest market they've ever had. Plenty of people are telling me it's harder than COVID, it's harder than the 2008 recession, and they've really had to dig deep and think about, what they're going to do to get out of this. We've seen businesses with larger headcounts dramatically reduce that and actually go through some real turmoil. I was recently listening to Hisham's podcast with John Gorn, which I thought was incredible. I saw John at the Expo around the time I think he connected with Hisham, and he told me a bit about his story and how, we're going from 90 recruiters to shutting the business down in less than a year is just insane. But a big part of that was things like LinkedIn licenses, having to pay for. They love you on the way up, these platforms. When you're growing, they're like, yeah, you can pay for another recruiter license and things like that. But how many recruitment companies have been affected by the fact that when they drop their headcount, their costs don't go with it? Recruiter, cost of office space, that kind of stuff. Fixed costs where suppliers are not flexible have actually cost so many people a lot of money this year. And some, in John's case and others, have cost them their businesses. They've gone into administration, liquidation, and different methods. With that has created obviously a lot of pressure, a lot of anxiety, and a bit of PTSD, I think, for some across the industry. And what I'm picking up now is this constant narrative around the same stuff I've been saying for years, to be honest. But majority of people I come across now are saying profit and quality are the two sort of metrics that they're going to be measuring moving forward, rather than growth and headcount. Growth of top line revenue and headcount, which were previously, what nearly every one of my RAG guests would speak about, is how many heads they grew, how fast they grew, top line numbers. Whereas now everyone's like, well, does that really matter? Is that why I quit my recruitment job at an agency to start another business and just have loads of pressure? I'm not convinced that's what the modern recruitment business leader is looking for. Most people are looking for good quality business that they wake up and enjoy. And then I've written down, like, how we make our money is becoming as important as how much. The amount of conversations we've had this year with people that say, look, Sean, I'm actually doing all right. I'm doing 200, 300, 400K this year, but I'm so tired. I'm burnt out. And I don't see myself doing this way for the rest of my days. Like, I just don't see the longevity, the sustainability in the model. Whereas other businesses who are going, right, I'm going to focus on how I recruit, how I set my business up for success. Maybe doing it differently than they did 10, 15 years ago, but thinking about the modern life, the modern workforce, the modern family, and setting everything up so that they can see 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line and actually wake up and enjoy their day. They're the people I see thriving and happier, which surely that's got to count for stuff, right? How happy you feel. So important. And then another thing of 2024, I think AI has taken, ChatGPT in general has just exploded. There's been more innovation in tech and AI this year than any year before, obviously, and it's only speeding up. And with that has presented kind of two types of people, or maybe three. You've got people who think they know everything about AI. They're quite funny and they make me laugh. It's so new to most people that it's very hard to be that much of an expert. There's people that are like resisting it and just like don't want to know it exists and just want to step away from it, and I fear for those people, and then there's the people in the middle, which I would, think I'm in this camp where you're genuinely seeing it as an opportunity rather than a threat, and you're leaning into it now and starting to learn how to use it and seeing it as, look, it's not going anywhere. The way we run our businesses in the next few years is going to revolutionize. Like I'm going to be talking about at the end of next year and in 12 months time, my RAG recap will probably be talking about things that I don't know exist today. That's how fast it's moving. So if you sit here now thinking you're going to be, you can recruit the same way for the rest of your career, I'm going to tell you now, I don't think you can. I think things are going to revolutionize and it's going to move so much faster than before. So much faster. So if you look at LinkedIn this year, it's been the same story, really. There's been winners, there's been losers. People have been obsessed with the algorithm since the start of the year. It's the number one question I get asked. Sean, what's going on with the algorithm? Why are my impressions dropping? Why has this happened? Most people in recruitment, right, have thousands of connections. They've got a decent network. They don't know how to use it properly. And they've been getting thousands of impressions on average content for a while. But now that more and more people are coming to the platform, there's more investment in the creating side of LinkedIn. It's much more of a social media platform than a job board that it used to be. The competition for eyeballs is going to get harder. So you're going to have to be better. You've got to have a higher quality of content. That said, when there's a billion people and the stats came out that over 80% of all the impressions come from 1% of the platform's users, that to me says there's still a massive opportunity. There's still so many people doing nothing on LinkedIn, and those that are doing stuff are doing it badly. There's a real opportunity to stand out, real opportunity. And what's going to change next year is on LinkedIn is quite clear. Okay, so it's very similar to recruitment. AI this year, as we've seen 150% increase in AI generated content on LinkedIn. That's mainly the written side, but that's AI images as well. That's going up. That's not slowing down. What that's doing, though, is it's increasing the volume that's going out, which does mean that there's more content, less people can see it, the impressions are naturally going to drop, and organic reach is declining. But there's also an authenticity issue. People can spot AI-generated content now much faster than they could a year or two ago. Like we can see ChatGPT in people's words. And if we're not resonating authentically with people, we're cutting it off. We're starting to ignore it. So for me, next year is all about leaning into AI, understanding how to use it. It'd be stupid not to improve your LinkedIn content, improve your brand on LinkedIn. But don't rely on it solely. Like you need to have a plan as to how you're going to optimize it, how you're going to use it authentically. It has to still sound and come across like you if you're trying to build a brand. I've got clients all over the world and they're all following the same methodology that we've built, but they're doing it and they're applying their own knowledge in their own way. And you need that. So if you want to work with me, great. If you don't, that's fine. But go and get yourself a coach. If you don't have a foolproof plan in 2025 to use LinkedIn correctly, when AI is kicking off to the point where content's getting easier and easier, but if you've not got a foolproof plan, like I can't stress how quickly you're going to be left behind because the volume's getting greater. People are getting onto this now. It's getting easier and easier to produce good quality content. So don't sit there and think, look, I'm just going to work the way I've always worked, because it's just, it's just too obvious now that things are changing. It's too obvious. You've got to get on board with it. So LinkedIn next year is a place where you've got to get on board. A couple of things that are moving on. They want you to connect with more people. So we've seen that in the first 3 weeks of connecting with new connections, they're 80% more likely to see your content. So you should be connecting with new people all the time. If you've hit multiple thousands of connections on LinkedIn and you're like, I kind of know my market, my gut says you don't. My gut says there's loads of scope for you to grow. And LinkedIn's going to reward you for connecting with more people and connecting with authentic people in the right space. LinkedIn's searchability and keyword algorithms is getting better and better as well. So the more you write content about a certain space and connect with people in a certain space, the more it's going to serve it up to those people. It learns what people want to see and what it understands you. So put more effort into this, take it seriously. And ultimately, if you want to grow in 2025 on LinkedIn, you've got to be consistent. It's all about consistency. AI can come in, motivation can waver, can climb, can drop. But if you can just hit LinkedIn minimum 3, optimally 5 times a week next year with your thoughts, you're going to have such a better year. Such a better year. It's going to be so much better for you. Now, if you'd like help with that, okay, if you look in the show notes to this episode, I'm launching a free 7-day challenge. That is where I'm giving away some of my best advice for free. You can just take it. So if you click the link below on this show, go in and take the insights. So go and do the 7 days of how I've planned it. It's only like a really small, like 5-10 minute task per day for a week, but it'll change the way you use LinkedIn. Go and do it. Take it for free. Here's a little New Year's gift from me. Hope it works. Now, looking at my business in 2024, looking at Hoxo, I don't know if any of you know what I've been up to. I'm pretty vocal, obviously, as you know, but it's been a really big transitional year for me as well. Like the market has been tough for many people. I actually found 2023 was harder than 2024 from a business perspective. And the main thing was we were closing down services that didn't serve us anymore, that we didn't see a future in. So I've told you before that my agency at one point was doing 1.5 million in revenue at 25 headcount, 35 headcount. And we reached 40 staff. And on paper, I had a really good business. But actually, when you got under the bonnet of it, did I believe in that product? No. Were my clients that happy? No. Was my team happy? No. Did I see longevity in the services? No. All these things screamed we needed to change. So we changed direction. In 2023, we made 25 redundancies. And we whittled the team down from 40 to, we actually started this year with 14 people. And we closed down a massive unit and we launched a brand new unit. So we shut down the agency where we were a retained business and we started the boardroom, which was my high ticket, high value community I wanted to build with the most innovative recruitment founders in the world and help them build revenue generating communities. And it's been insane. Like we've now got 43 members of the boardroom globally, from Australia to the US to Dubai to Europe to the UK. These are all recruitment founders who share a few things. And number one, they've already got an existing brand on LinkedIn, like they believe in it. They've been through my training, most of them. Some of them have come straight in and then I've just showed them what I do on top of what they already do. We've got people that are either have a marketing person or prepared to invest in a marketer to help them out, even if it's on a freelance basis. People that are prepared to grow their brand and do different things. And then people that have got a clear vision of who they want to work with. Like, so they've got a market that they believe they can service. I know for a fact that recruitment-related content, recruitment-related conversation only goes so far because people will only ever talk to you when they need you for hiring or for moving jobs. So how do you keep the communication and conversation constant with people? To me, the only way is to build a community. Just like I have with you guys in the RAG, just like I have on my free communities I've built and my paid communities. There's a way in which you can capture an audience, bring like-minded people together and add value to them through a purpose that goes beyond placements. And that's what my clients in the boardroom are doing now. So we get together every single week online. We meet twice a year. We met in London. We met in Dubai in October. And over the year, the group's grown and we've added some unbelievable people from around the world. They're making 6 and 7 figures in revenue from these communities. And it's just like, wow. I wrote down a Word doc at the beginning of December 2023. Like, this was an idea I wanted to build, the boardroom. Now I'm sat here with 40 agency clients all over the world. We ran 3 UK events and 1 international event. Next year, we're going to London in March. We're going to Sydney in May, and we're going to Doha in Qatar in October with the group. I mean, I can't actually believe we're on this mission to get to 100 members. I don't want to go beyond that. It's 100 and then we're going to shut the door. And I would not, the reason I'm telling you this, I would not have been able to achieve that had I not shut down the other business. If I didn't wipe the slate clean. And have you ever been in this position where you sat there going, I really don't like that business unit or that team or that product line, but it makes me money, so I've got to hold on to it. You think about what you're going to lose. That's what I was like for years with my agency. And then when I got rid of it, I was like, right, then I could focus on what I wanted. And I've been able to build something that's way more aligned to my business, my purpose, my vision. You know, we've got a lean team. So we've grown from 14, we went down to 13, and now we're up to 15. We've lost one and hired 2 this year. That's all we've done this year. But that team now is set to be able to, we could probably triple our revenue without hiring more than 1 or 2 more people because we've built the foundations of a scalable product. And that's just been amazing. It's been tiring. It's been stressful. It's been a bit of startup mode at times and lacking in processes and things, but we're there now. We've got a really clear product definition, marketing, sales, operations, delivery, everything's in, which has been hard work, but I've loved it. So next year is going to be bigger and better for the boardroom, which is amazing. The bootcamp, we've seen over, I think we're just tipped over 180 new clients this year. So we're an average of 15 new businesses a month coming into the bootcamp to learn about the how we use LinkedIn. You know, I get over 1 million views a month on LinkedIn. It's all been built on my original strategy, but then all these clients around the world that we work with, some of which have been on this show, and you know, they're amazing people. We've took the best bits from them, and we've created this program now that is living and breathing, and people are genuinely making like more than 6 figures in 6 months because they're just coming in, taking the process we're giving them, and then we're plugging into them on a daily and weekly basis to make sure they do it, and then it's running through. And next year we're launching an AI app to go and support. So it's like a ChatGPT in a way, but it's built with all of our processes and templates in. So when a client comes in, they get our learnings, our development, our training. We handhold people, but we're also going to give them a tool that's going to make it go faster and slicker. So we're on board with AI just like the rest of the market, and we're embracing it. And I genuinely, I can't wait to see what we can create next year as a community. 7,000 members in the bootcamp. I want well over 200 new businesses around the world next year joining, and yeah, we've got the right team. We get over 1,000 leads a month. We got the sales team. We got the delivery team. Everything's set. So what I'm trying to say, it's been an incredibly transitional year to close a business unit down, open a brand new one, and then solidify the most existing, the flagship program. It's took a lot of work. I've not had a day off properly since last week in July when I went to Greece. I've been on holiday, but trips, but I'm always working. So, God, I'm looking forward to Christmas. Now, the RAG podcast, you will know I've been back this year with a slightly new flavor. So I took a break. I took a genuine break. I started it in January 2019. And if I'm really honest, I got to the point where recording it this way since the pandemic, I lost a little bit of love for it, a little bit of the fire. And I needed a break. So I took the summer off. And it was really useful. I was able to sit there and, and decompress and think, what do I want to do with this show? Like, I've met some amazing people. I get thousands of listeners, great sponsors, all the rest of it. But what am I doing it for? Like, what? And how do I take it to a place where, remember I said before, like people want to concentrate on how they work, not just how much they earn. I was like, I want to do this now in a way that I love. So what I did was I decided that this season would come back face to face. So we basically, where I live in Sheffield, we found a hotel. We created a little studio in one of their dining rooms. And we literally got guests to come up to Sheffield, stay over. We'd have dinner together. We'd go out and do a hike in the Peak District. And we did three days of that. And it was amazing. We had a few issues with the video team on the first couple of days. So the audio on the first few episodes, you'll notice Tom Glanfield and Kate Cross and Paul de Rosario wasn't great. And that was on us. We picked the wrong partner, and we've sorted that out. The quality's getting better and better. But what I've loved about that is in a world of AI, a world of remote work, that I'm embracing those moments together, those moments of dinner, those moments of hiking, those moments of sitting there face to face, eyeball to eyeball talking have been priceless. They've been incredible. And I feel like the show is is better. The quality of conversation is better. I'm getting more from it. I'm building these relationships that I want to build. And so next year is going to be even better. We're doing it in London again. I do believe there's been pros to people coming up to Sheffield with the countryside and things, but it benefited me with my little girl at that time. Now I think more people can get to London. We'll get even better quality of equipment and guests and studios and things. So from January, we're going to be recording in London over about 6 times next year. We're going to have 2 days intense recordings with 8 guests, and then we're going to release it on a weekly schedule. So I'm absolutely buzzing about that. Obviously, we've got some amazing sponsorship partners. We've got the guys at Atlas who are building the world's leading or first AI-driven CRM, which the feedback across the board has been insane from Hoxo members and clients that are using it, and clients from the RAG, the listeners of the RAG that are listening and using Atlas. What Jordan hasn't got in the platform now, he's going to get in it. Like, he's committed. If you go in the Slack channel with all of his users and look at the daily interaction from Jordan, the founder, like, the guy is messaging people at like midnight on a Friday. Like, he's in it. He's in it. So if there's any doubt with the supplying your supplier partner from a CRM perspective, Atlas are the one. They're the one that are going to, they're going for it. They're absolutely in touch, like on finger on the pulse with customers, and it's AI first. They're not bolting AI into something that existed. It's brand new with AI built in. So if I was a recruiter in 2025, I'd be using Atlas. And I'm not just saying that. I wouldn't partner with them if I didn't believe in it. The second partner we've had is Untapped. So as you know, we've built Hoxo in South Africa. We did that from the pandemic, and we came across Kyle Granger a couple of years ago, who's been helping us with our recruitment out there. Obviously, we've not done a lot of recruitment this year there, but Kyle's our go-to. He's been brilliant. And he then launched Untapped to service the recruitment industry globally and find like resources, operational staff, salespeople, and marketing, that kind of stuff. Across the board, their brand is growing like wildfire. They've got South African resources, they've got Filipino resources, and they're helping recruitment companies, mainly in the UK, but internationally as well, build those amazing teams of super talented individuals, but at a lower cost than what you'd find online. And if you're gonna get rid of your offices or work semi-remote, then why wouldn't you look at someone in Philippines or someone in South Africa that speaks really good English, is working your time zone, has the competencies to do the job, but save 30 to 40 to 50% even of the cost? I mean, it's a no-brainer. And also, now they're not even charging an upfront fee; they're just rolling it into a monthly cost. So you're going to say, right, I want a marketing manager in South Africa. They'll charge you a monthly fee, and they will manage the whole employer of record, the payroll, everything. So you'll plug in, that person will work full time with you, but there's no performance fees or any of that. It's just like rolled in. And I think it's seriously clever. So if you want to get a team together of expert people at a lower cost, Untapped. Now, our newest sponsor, I wasn't even looking for a sponsor. I don't want any more sponsors. I'm happy with the 2 I've got. But this guy is someone I believe in more than probably anyone I've come across in the industry. And this is Paul de Rosario. He was on the show this season. He's launching Beyond the Founder. And I just love what Paul, I've been part of the journey with Paul in terms of the ideas. I'm not an investor or equity partner or anything like that, but I've been involved in the ideas creation with Paul of why his business exists. And I genuinely think that the number one of all the 500 episodes or whatever I've done on this show, the number one reason that those people who've done really well have done really well is because of the people around them. They've built the best quality leadership teams around them. And if I look at my life now compared to 2 years ago or even a year ago, my business is infinitely better. My life's better because of the people around me. I've got my business partner, Amma, who leads our new business. I've got Bav, our director, who's been with us since 2019, who runs my delivery function. I've got Lauren, who's been with me for 3.5 years, and she's my ops and marketing director. And she's from South Africa, lives in England. She's the conduit between the 2 countries, and she leads our branding messages internally, externally. And those 3 people with me, the 4 of us, to me, it allows me to breathe. It allows me to do what I'm good at, these things, and know that the right people are running my business. And Paul de Rosario, that's exactly, now he's the opposite of Untapped. Untapped are a lower cost solution. He's a premium solution. He's going to be more expensive than any of the rec to rec you come across. And he's not a rec to rec because he's not looking at recruitment level roles. He'll only look at the directors, the leadership team, the board level hires, if you like. people that are going to be with you if you're going to grow and exit. People are going to be with you and take the pressure off. People are going to run your ops and marketing, your finance. People that might run your sales on new divisions. The top of the tree that are going to surround the founder, that's what Paul is looking for, beyond the founder. So I believe in him so much. He's a new sponsor for the show. I want to help get his message out there to the world. And Paul's offering some amazing discounts to RAG listeners. Even though he's a premium, he's going to offer little discounts to RAG listeners, and he's going to throw in some extra bells and whistles as well around the services, things like psychometric tests and all these different things. So, look, if you want to listen to the episode with Paul that I've already released this season, go and listen to it. But if you're interested, check the link in the show notes to be on the founder. If you're a recruitment owner who's thinking, I am not going to achieve my goals without the right people around me, and you're not precious about saving every penny, you'd rather spend on the right person to go and headhunt for you, go and find Paul, be on the founder. That's the one. So the show's going to be bigger and better. There's going to be amazing guests, going to be in person, going to be based in London. I can't wait for next year when it comes to the show. Now, to wrap up this podcast, I want to talk about my life this year. And hopefully, you've probably seen I've been very vocal this year on LinkedIn, and I'm blurring the lines constantly between personal and professional because I really don't think there's that much of a difference anymore. We are one person in work and at home. And, I've been on a real transformational journey this year, like massive. So it's no surprise or no secret that I quit drinking on the 26th of December last year. Now, I did not stop drinking on Boxing Day with the intention of quitting alcohol. My stomach was physically in pain after drinking every day in December. I drank Guinness every day in December. I then went to my dad's house on Boxing Day. My wife drove. I had about 5-6 cans of Guinness. I got home and I was honestly just in agony. I was like, that's me done for a bit. My wife we'd given birth in October, and she was struggling with some postnatal anxiety, like some serious like intrusive thoughts and OCD and all these different things that were like crippling for her. And the day before Boxing Day, Christmas Day, we went out to have lunch in a restaurant because we were like, with a little baby, we're not cooking. We just wanted to keep it simple. We're doing the same this year. It's a great shout, by the way. But we did invite some other friends and family to come over for a bit of buffet and a few drinks in the evening. When we got back, my wife had a glass of Prosecco, I think just one. But she just had a real dark turn and was really upset. And she just said, look, can you ask everyone to leave? This was like 7 p.m. on Christmas Day. I can't face it. So I had to go down and effectively kick people out of my house, family members out of the house, say, look, can you just give us some space? And then when the dust settled on that, the next day, obviously, I went and had drinks, and then she drove. And then the next morning, 27th, I think it was, we were flying to Dubai for New Year last year. We were doing for the first 2 weeks of the year. And she said, look, I don't want to drink in Dubai. And I said, well, why? And she goes, well, I genuinely think with all the mental issues I've got, this is not helping. Like one Prosecco and I'm falling apart. And it's, this trigger of the sun in Dubai where it's, I don't think it's going to help. And I said, look, I'll do it with you. I was really excited. After my stomach was in pain, I was like, I'm well up for a break. I think I'd put on about 3 or 4 kilos in weight in December. I felt like shit, if I'm honest. So we did it. We went to Dubai. We had 2 weeks, and it was the best holiday I've ever had as a family with Lauren, with the kids. We were more present. We were more playful. Normally you get around the pool and you think, you'll have a drink at lunchtime, and then you kind of in that, I'm going to have another drink. And then the kids just become a little bit irritating. That's what my experience was. A little bit irritating. You kind of a bit short and a bit snappy, like, just give me a minute. You're always trying to find your next drink. Whereas when you take that away, completely different experience. Real energy in the afternoons, real energy in the evenings. Real taste, really enjoyed the food. Just things were better. So we got back and we said, let's do January. And that went dead easy. And then it was, let's do February and let's do March. And then I worked with my coach, Keith Cronin, who I've known for years, alcohol-free living. He's been incredible. And he, we worked on a plan and we said, look, I've got a stag do in May in Lisbon. And I was like, I'm going to try and not drink till then. And if I can get through that, I'm going to go the whole 12 months. And he was like, great. So we then met twice a week at the gym, but on a Friday, we'd sit down and have a coffee and we'd always talk about face to face, like how I felt. And it just kept getting easier and easier and easier. And the thing I noticed after about 7-8 weeks was that I was just not bothered. Like I wasn't thinking about alcohol. I wasn't like romanticizing about whether I wanted one or not. I was just like, look, I've just replaced it with the alcohol-free versions. and I'm enjoying it, and I'm losing a bit of weight, and I'm feeling a bit better in the gym, and everyone kept saying you look healthier. So I was like, I'll just take that. And then I got through Lisbon, and I said I want to do the year, and then I got to like the summer, and I was like, this is just better. Like I was in better shape. Work was easier. I was sleeping better. I was waking up fresh. I had better relationships with my wife, my kids. I probably didn't see some of the same people as much as I would have before who I'd drink with, but not as, I didn't see a lot of them anyway, but maybe that's the only thing that's gone down is some of the connections I had not as consistent, but on the whole, it's 10 times better. What that's then led, though, is what I want to talk about on this show, is like it's led to me then optimizing other areas or looking at other areas of my life to improve. So, a big thing I was looking at then is what I eat. My diet has always been something that I'm pretty good at, but I do yo-yo a lot, and I do eat a lot of shit at the weekends and things. So I've been really good at like staying in a rough like guide of how much I eat. You don't have those days where you crave like loads of salty, sugary stuff. Like you just don't when you're not hungover. So I've been miles more consistent there. Then I started looking at the quality of the food and doing a lot of research on things like the difference between organic food. I never really thought about organic food. This year, my house is now stocked with organic food. I don't really buy anything that's not organic if I can help it. I'm not like I'm not obsessed with it to the point where I won't eat in restaurants or whatever, but I will, if it's on a shelf and it's not organic and I can find an organic alternative, I will, because I want to put better stuff into my body now. And then I started fasting. So I'm recording this today at 3:40. I've not eaten yet. I've been to the gym in the morning. I've been for a nice long walk. I've not eaten. So every Monday I don't eat. From Sunday night to Monday night, I have a 22 to 24 hour break. And then every day I don't eat till about 12, 1 o'clock. And then I'll stop eating about 8 o'clock at night when I have a bit of dessert with my kids. So I have a nice, I think it's like 16-hour, and I just have black coffee and black tea or whatever in the morning. And I'm really enjoying that. I've realized that you just don't need as much food as you thought you did. Again, I'm not craving the crap. When you drink more, you blow your calories drinking, you then get hungrier, and then you don't want to train. So I'm not having any of them days. So things are just way more calm or way more consistent. And then that's led to me analyzing my training more, and I've bought different kit. I've got like a running plan. I've got a weights plan. Things are just in a better shape. I'm not perfect by any stretch, but I'm way better off now than I was a year ago. It's crazy. When I had my baby, I kind of thought that might be me going into like dad bod mode and like finding things harder, but it kind of did the opposite of me. It just like set off a fire in my brain. Like, how can I optimize and be better for her? I'm 38 now. I want to be in the best shape of my life before I'm 40. I want to be a dad with energy that's impressive, that, can do everything I want with my daughter, not someone who's going that way, I read something today. It said, you don't get old and then immobile. You get immobile and then old, which is a pretty bold statement. So focus on movement, focus on vitality, and you'll feel younger for longer, I think. So my 2025 goals are, I actually want to keep things really simple and do less, right? So I'm going to the gym 3 times a week. I'm going to run 3 times a week. That's it. That's all that's my training program. My diet is really simple organic foods, high protein, high fats. I don't eat in the morning, and I take a day off food. I actually have less food than I've ever eaten, and I have better quality stuff. I still eat out on a Thursday night, and if I'm going to have 14 meals a week, 2 a day, I'll have 3 that are not like in this. So 3 that I'll eat out or whatever. That's kind of what 80-20 rule. And then personally next year, I want to focus on being a better stepdad. I find it's the hardest job I've ever had. I'm really proud of what I've done, but I don't know if any of you listening have been through either being a step parent or had a step parent. Like, it's just not something you can prepare for. And every day is a different challenge, and the emotions that are tied up in different blended families, like, genuinely, it's my number one. It's probably the biggest area in my life I think I'm underperforming at. I just don't feel good at, even though my wife and kids will probably tell you something else. I don't feel like I'm good enough. So I want to read books. I want to improve my quality next year of the way I deal with that. And if anyone who's listening can give me any recommendations, or advice, then fire away. I'll take it. Take it tomorrow. And I really want to, I'm going to put personally a lot of effort into learning more about AI next year. Like I feel like I'm ahead of a lot of people, but I've done all this work on understanding I've done all this work on understanding marketing and the branding and the impacts. And now I want to tie it all in with the new world of AI and automation. So I'm just not left behind. So that's where I'm putting my focus next year, really simply there. I'm spending time with less people. I'm doing simple training, eating simple foods, not drinking alcohol, and investing in my future. And in the process, I'm feeling happier. So if I leave you with anything today, I hope it's a feeling that next year, I do think things are going to be different. I think things are going to be better for the industry in general. But I do think it's still going to be competitive. And my advice is do less better. In your personal life, in your professional life, pick the things that you really want to do in the way that you want to do them and commit to it. And drop things that you don't want to do. There's a million things you could be doing, but stick to the things that you want to do. And then when you look at something you want to do, think about how that's going to play out in the next few years. So, if you really enjoy, picking up the phone and headhunting, that's cool. But think about the tools that are going to enable you to do that better. Not necessarily replace it, but do it better in the next few years. If you really enjoy swimming, think about how you can improve your performance over the next few years and how you can live a better life to improve your swimming or whatever. I'm making this up, but I think now is a natural time to think, well, who do I want to be next year? For me, I just want to be a better version of what I am today. Invest in the right people, invest in myself, put as much time and effort into being the best version of me. And I think the rest will work out just fine. So I hope you've had an amazing Christmas. I hope you've had some real off switch time. I know I was running on fumes at the end of the year. I'm sure you were. There's always a bit of anxiety in the new year. Everyone feels it. That's normal, But as soon as you get back to work and you start making those calls and reaching out to people and producing that content and doing what you do best, it'll all feel, everything will get back to normal. I wish you the best of luck. If you've got any questions for me, if you want to reach out to me about anything, I'm always there. LinkedIn's the best place. Check out the links in the show notes. I told you I've got that free 7-day challenge that I'm launching now in January, so go and crack on with that. And if any of the partners of this show can help, then, I'm sure they can if it resonated. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for your attention so far. And I promise to you, I'll bring the best show I can in this year. I'll interview. I'm not just interviewing people that are going to exit. I'm interviewing as many different people from different backgrounds with the same goal of running a recruitment company in the modern era that they enjoy. That's the can I show people who've done that or have failed in trying to do that. But that's the intention. I'm going to run a business that I enjoy, that's sustainable in 2025. That's what the rag's all about. Yeah, it's not about 1980s growth stories anymore. It's about the modern future. Guys, thanks for listening. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you next week. Thank you as always for listening to today's show. I truly hope that you got value from it. Honestly, it's the only reason I take time every week to ensure that my audience, you guys, future and existing recruitment owners, you're learning from each other to make this industry that I love so much stronger. And today's episode is brought to you by my business, Hoxo. I'm the CEO and founder, and we're on a mission to help brand recruitment agencies and their people better. I want to help people have the tools to stand out in the most competitive markets in the world. So I'll see you again next week with another episode. Catch you soon.